Welcome back, guys. We are here for the second games of the day. It is going to be the Jin Air Greenwings versus DAMWON here for this one. The highlight match of the day for sure. It's me, Valdez, with LS, and yeah, KT able to take the win earlier, 2-1. That was actually my original prediction, and then I changed it to Gen G before I came here. Feels bad, man. The LCK Discord does that.
That's
like,
why
thing.
KT won.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, I cursed it, so
yeah.
there you go.
No, you saved
right, well,
you would have cursed if you said KT.
I saved KT, I guess.
That's why I was chanting, I won't get excited, you know?
Yeah.
For last game.
You knew exactly
Mike
what
went
to
hot.
do.
Yeah. So.
You know, that's what happens. But how are you feeling about this next one, LS? You pumped for some Jin Air versus DAMWON?
Words fail me. Okay? Words
Yeah.
fail me. There is no way to truly talk about this series. Now, Jin Air, no stranger to long games. So we're in for for a long night. Okay?
Potentially. I mean, they'll have to win one first in order to get us the 3 games. So we'll see if that does happen. They have won one game so far. Let me take a look at who that was. That was SKT.
Yeah, they managed to bring SKT to a game 3. But SKT, I mean, they're another 8th place team right now in the LCK, so they're not like the other teams on the west side of the bracket. So
yeah,
you gotta understand that. I mean, SKT has brought G2 to a game 5, but 8th place in LCK. So,
yeah.
you know, what can you really talk about?
Yeah,
there, okay?
I mean. You know, K2 would have won that one for sure. Even without Prey. That's the only thing we know.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the points of the match. You need a victory to stack up to 2. Jin Air on the hunt for their first. That sounds terrible. To say they're on the hunt for their first win. Up against DAMWON Gaming. DAMWON Gaming got their first win by defeating KT. Can they roll on and make it 2? Okay. Pentamaker wants some MVP. Can he win it today? You think he's going to get an MVP?
I'm going to vote for him and rig the election.
So you're predicting DAMWON to win?
Well, I never said that. Maybe they win one game and he wins.
Oh, you're going to vote for someone who doesn't necessarily win as the MVP?
Yeah, I mean, if they win a game,
then
I'll get a chance.
You know, that's actually pretty interesting. MVP... It's weird that the losing team can't get MVP points. You know?
But that's the way it is in every sport and every competition of all time. So why is that weird?
Because
it's very standard.
All right.
Take a look at this stat here. 71% first turret percentage here for Jin Air. They're first in the league, but they have 0% gold lead at 10 minutes. How is that even possible? I don't like. Those two things are kind of like, they should cancel each other out, right? You usually get the first turret.
Win rate after first turret is 20%. Okay?
True.
So maybe they should just stop taking the first turret. Think about that. Think about it.
Look at the other side. I mean, DWG only takes first turret 50% of the time, but they win a lot more often.
Listen, Valdez, I got it for you.
Yeah?
In today's series, they are going to surrender first turret.
Okay. Not surrender.
They're going to have a gold lead at 10, and then they're going to win the game.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
Along?
Yeah, I got it.
You on my flight path?
Look at the gold difference at 10 for DWG.
2. Yep.
2.
That's impressive.
2 gold.
Yeah, 2.
It's like, it's not even like 200 or anything. It's 2.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're taking a look at some of the highlights. Jin Air here against Gen G. Able to pick up a kill onto Cube. And Gen G, they just suffered a loss earlier on today, as they're definitely getting sliced and diced up in the highlights that we saw 2 highlights.
Yep. Okay. Well, you know, when you go down 0 to 2, there's not much to highlight.
Okay. What about first blood turrets?
Yeah, maybe we could have seen them taking out a turret.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Saw them take out. Oh. All right, DWG Gaming definitely have the potential to actually make it so that we don't get long games here tonight, though. But they are going up against Jin Air, who have always had a knack for being able to even make the best of teams go to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening here tonight. DAMWON Gaming, they do like to get aggressive, and they like to be flashy, as we are seeing in the highlights. And like one of the match points.
Penta here.
Yeah, ShowMaker.
It took too long to get his 4th kill. And so even though he got all 5, it just counted as a triple-double.
Unfortunate. Absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the match point. ShowMaker versus Grace in the mid lane. And again, it's very early on, so some of the stats, it's hard to really use them to talk deeply about the matchup, as there's only a couple of matches that each team has played so far. So ShowMaker, yes, he does have 2 first place under his belt for kill percent and kill participation. Damage percent, interestingly enough, Grace is actually ahead of him. And in terms of...
Yep, that's the only one.
Damage per minute, yeah. Damage per minute. They're not too far apart. 44.
Yeah, not
on
bad.
average.
It's bigger than 2.
Yep.
What we saw before. So let's take a look at the rosters here and who is going to be starting. I saw Nuguri there over for DAMWON. And over on the side of Jin Air will be Kellin, Root, Grace, Malrang, Lindarang. All the wrongs here. Coming in for the Jin Air Greenwings, still looking for their first series win, with only 1 win against SKT under their belts.
Yeah. And the series against SKT, I think that a lot of people were expecting that maybe it meant that Jin Air turned a new leaf. However, everything after that wasn't going the way that people had expected, and also it was actually sort of a foreshadowing of SK Telecom having a really rough start here in LCK Summer. DAMWON, this is one of the teams that was highlighted as being arguably one of the best in spring 2019.
Yeah. I mean, they were on the west side. They got 4th place the last time around, but also on a bit of a rough and slow start so far. Currently 1-2. They did take the win against KT, though, which is pretty nice. It's a good turnaround in that series for them.
And so here tonight, Nuguri will be starting, and he is one of the best carry top laners.
Oh yeah.
In the LCK.
They were up against KT the last time, and he made both Kingen and Smeb look silly. And now he's going to be up against Lindarang tonight, who, again, definitely a favorite matchup for that lane.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, Keen, and then probably Summit, and then you can actually make a pretty good argument that Nuguri might be the 3rd best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd say he himself and Summit are very similar in terms of skill level. Slightly different play style. I think Nuguri's more aggressive and lane focused, but definitely he's up there top 3 at least, I'd say. Which is kind of interesting because I'm sure a lot of people are like, what about Khan, or what about these other big names like Smeb? Where have they gone? Well, it's kind of the new story here at the LCK, especially in that top lane. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of new players coming in.
DAMWON coach's birthday.
And so we're going to look at the Jin Air coach. This is not the DAMWON coach. Yeah, Jung-Soo Kim is the former IG coach, world champion. And now he's back here in Korea doing his thing with DAMWON Gaming.
We are in lobby waiting for the game to start. It looks like we are going to jump into pick ban. And we'll have to see how Jin Air are going to try to approach this, as we're going to kick things off here with an Aurelia ban against Nuguri. Curious to see if Vladimir will actually end up being targeted. We've seen that sometimes happen by teams.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can make the argument where it's like, well, he has just too deep of a champion pool, but even against Ruler, we had the Ezreal permaband every game, I think. Yeah, every single game first ban.
Yeah.
So there's just certain players with certain champions that you just never want to let them touch, and Nuguri's Vladimir was that for a while.
And Sir Thomas now banned away, followed by Sejuani. Inside of DAMWON, Rise now will bite the dust. This means that Silas, Nico, Yuumi are all still living at this current point in time. Perhaps Jin Air would like to actually just try to amplify root with the Yuumi if it would end up being allowed to go through. DAMWON really deciding on their last ban here. It's going to end up being the Silas.
And the Silas is, you know, definitely top tier. It gets banned a lot. It's no longer Silas. He has a really good win percentage, actually. It's something like 80%. It's definitely up there pretty high. And KT just got another win with them. And how about this? First pick Olaf. Yeah.
What are you doing?
LS looks actually angry.
Oh, man.
Well, we're just trying to sink that
Have your
win
pick of the litter.
percentage down.
Let's just get Jarvan out of the way. And then you can choose an AD carry, and you can hand it back over to the opponents to keep hanging themselves. With
Olaf
the way that
down
they
to
are drafting. Said it's actually going to be Akali.
And Desire.
And
for
Desire.
nuclear.
So ShowMaker really wants to just make sure that he gets that Akali pick for himself. The Xayah definitely does have a scaling component to her as well. And so already out the gate, they are drafted into a more mid-rangey late style so far with their first two picks. And Jin Air, this is one of the problems with Olaf. He forces you very deep into a certain category. And so now Yuumi is picked up. Maybe they accompany this with Lucian. And they just try to go full-on mono-red. We just saw Genji attempt this. And it will fall flat most of the time.
It does feel like that, especially in Korea, some other regions. I saw Papa made a tweet about
and
it's working
LPL,
a lot in LPL and
right,
other places.
It tends to be successful there. Instead, it looks like Ezreal will be the hover. So Ezreal, Yuumi. So if you want to play dodgeball down in bottom lane, that could be the pick. Now, will DAMWON just accompany this with Rakan? And it looks like it will be the case. And then after this, you just pinch away mid laners, most likely.
Yeah, it's taking away annoying stuff there as Rakan, the very obvious pick. Of course, alongside of the Xayah, you can see that he has a higher pick rate than the Xayah because he's played with other bottom lanes more often than Xayah.
And so now Nico banned away. It is a versatile champion that would be able to go AD or AP, but in this case it would most likely only be going AP, given the way that the team composition for Jin Air has been sculpted thus far. If you're Jin Air Greenwings, you probably try to just pinch the jungle champion pool. I don't think there's really a point to try to focus top lane. It's still too wide open, but they want to apparently take away the Jace from Nuguri.
Yeah, and I mean, that is really scary as well. I don't really blame them, but maybe you go with like another top-tier jungler here, as you were mentioning, maybe like a Rek'Sai or something. Just get Canyon off of something he could be too aggressive with.
Joey now banned away. Zoe.
Ooh, Joey? No.
Her name in Korean is Joey.
Yeah, Joey. And how about Fizz?
Pidgey?
Yeah, Pidgey.
I don't say that, though. I do say Fizz.
Is that like too far?
When I was saying it initially, it reminded me of Pez, and it rubbed me the wrong way. You ever had that candy as a kid?
Oh yeah, I love Pez.
Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. Sort
It's
of like
a
Olaf.
block of sugar.
Yeah.
It's great.
So I actually looked up what she was, and I saw that it was Fizz.
Yeah.
When I was learning the game.
You need to know your lore.
Yeah.
As no junglers were taken away, and none picked yet. Unless it's Jungle Rakan.
Kellin now picked up, which is a little bit interesting because there's such long-range poke and also repositioning available inside of Jin Air with the Ezreal and the Yuumi, and Jin Air hasn't selected their other champions yet. So now, with Lissandra, Jin Air are the ones that now get to recalibrate, which is just really, really surprising as to why they would end up doing this. With Ryze and everything banned away, yes, Gangplank is on the table, and with Jace banned away, a lot of people do say that Gangplank doesn't really have a counter up in top lane. Or at least not one that is overwhelmingly powerful, that can really cause problems for the champion. And so interestingly, Jin Air recalibrated really well in the second phase, and now this is going to be a Kellin and a Lee Sin, so DAMWON opened with the ability to go mid-range and late, and then for some reason, they shifted back towards putting pressure on themselves to engage against the Olaf, the Ezreal, and the Yuumi, and they let themselves susceptible, and so now Gangplank and Lissandra actually comes in, and this creates a potential problem for the DAMWON team composition. So that is a pretty big blunder in the second phase for DAMWON, and a nice save by Jin Air.
Yeah.
That's
We've seen a lot of questionable drafts, especially today.
Well, not just today though, but in Korea in general.
Yeah.
It's been one of the main focal points of many Reddit conversations,
and
people
Twitter
on
feed.
Twitter, pro players even, you know,
sure.
questioning what are they doing, why are they picking that, and a lot of people, they wonder if it's the coaches doing it, but it's not always the case. So this team composition actually rounded out a lot better off than it probably should have. And so now the jungler play is really going to influence this game. There's a lot of pressure on Canyon.
Oh yeah, and this is kind of where you want to put Canyon. You want to get him on something aggressive that can be a playmaker like Lee Sin. That's what he was known for. That's what we heard about him when he first entered the LCK and we first started seeing him play. See if he can make it happen here as we jump into Game 1 of Match 20. Jin Air versus DAMWON. Alrighty. Game number 1 of what could be a very fun series here between Jin Air and DAMWON. She's not using the pink chroma. Or the skin. So what's going on, Kellin?
I don't know what's going on. He's playing Yuumi, though. What a great cat.
Why is her tail that long?
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's like the size of her body.
What if it's not a tail? What if it's a third arm?
What are you trying to say, LS?
I don't know. Trying to say that I think that you don't truly understand that species. You should maybe refrain from commenting.
The first thing you said was, that's a nice cat. So I thought we were kind of on the same page about the species, and I don't think we had to make that clarification. Let's look at that tail. It's gigantic.
Okay.
I guess
so
they needed to make it so that the feather, what do you even call that yellow thing on the end?
Oh, there's actually a name for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm forgetting what it's called. We'll just call it the tip.
Okay.
The tip of the tail.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So we have a cat against birds here in bottom lane. What do you think?
Cats are the predators of birds. Yes. I have had a couple of cats in my life.
Okay.
And
so do you think
I definitely know that.
Yuumi is favored?
I know my cat lore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my analysis for that lane.
All right, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
And what have you up here?
Well, it's a pirate versus a ninja.
Okay.
And yeah, pirates and ninjas. What side are you?
What if Kennen is what was his name from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? The old.
Which one?
The not Shredder or whatever.
Oh, Splinter?
Splinter.
Yeah.
What if he's young Splinter? You ever think about that?
Kind of does look like that, actually.
Right? And he just got so fed up and tired of actually fighting on the Rift that he made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which are actually just a champion with several chromas. Think about it.
Do we have a turtle champion?
Ramus, right? That's a Bowser.
Yeah, that's a turtle. Yeah.
Basically
Spiky
Bowser.
turtle.
Not quite Bowser, but
Yeah,
I mean, may as well be.
They both have spikes.
They both have spikes and a shell.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever watch speedruns of like Super Mario?
Super Mario? Absolutely. I love it, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I absolutely love it. Here we have the classic 4-camp into forceful gank that relies on the opponent to make an error. They almost actually get him to get the flash.
Feeling
so,
good.
The thing for Nuguri right there, though, is that his jungler is on the opposite side of the map, and so why is he hugging the south side of the lane against the gangplank and being susceptible to such a play? And now Canyon, after having completed the Scuttle Crab, he's at 20 CS. He knows that, okay, well, Olaf goes in top lane with 16 CS at that timing. I know that he couldn't have actually done his golem camps because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to be there with that amount of CS. I'm going to come in here, counter jungle this. Akali utilizing the priority in mid lane, going to try to rotate down into bottom potentially, and maybe do something, as it does look like Jin Air, Root, and Kellin are trying to push up the lane. Malrang, I don't know what he's doing, but we've seen this many times from Jin Air.
Yeah, I mean, the lane was pushing. He lost his flash, just teleported back, but his E was up, and he was so far back in the lane that because of that vision, he was able to be safe from the gank and have no problem.
So right now, Lindarang is feeling fantastic now up here in top lane, as Ezreal and Yuumi continuing to try to do work down in bottom. Yuumi is having the Comet, so it's not the Airy that we saw earlier on today. As meanwhile, in mid lane, Grace and ShowMaker are going tit for tat. ShowMaker, however, does have teleport against the Lissandra with Fleet Footwork, so not the spellbook Akali. And other than that, there's really not too much going on, so...
We had double Dorans in the top lane, as Nuguri kind of had an awkward back timing, so decided that that was going to be his item of choice, wants to really put on the pressure in the lane, but so far, excuse me, as you can see, after that gank, Lindarang has just been going very even with him so far, so no real problem for him just yet.
Canyon clearing out the control ward, checking if Olaf is anywhere in the vicinity. And Nuguri is actually just recovering and salvaging this lane so well right now against Lindarang, who is managing it quite bizarrely with the barrels and whatnot, as he's now forced to recall, doesn't have teleport available. Or, okay, it looks like he really doesn't want to recall. You can see Akali converting the pressure in mid into getting a deep ward just north of the Wolves. A little bit surprised that Canyon didn't actually just immediately path up into top lane. Especially because they know where Olaf is. So, on the giant wave that was crashing, they could have maybe actually gone for a gank, or at least forced Gangplank to recall, which then converts into turret plates, which in and of itself is basically a kill.
Yeah, kind of just went in and wandered the jungle, put down a control ward in a good spot, and that was about it. Speaking of barrels, he's down here in the bottom lane. He is starting once again, so it's not going to be his partner in crime, Hoyt, in the support lane that will be taking that role today. And it's BeryL, after a couple of good performances, don't blame him for getting the start here. I think it's a good decision.
So far in bottom, everything is going pretty even for the most part. Not too much happening here.
Yeah, how would you rate the Olaf gameplay so far?
I mean, you know, it's Olaf.
Yeah.
So one of my main gripes with the champion is you go through every single VOD where you see it picked, and then you ask yourself objectively, what did he do that another AD jungler like Rek'Sai or Jarvan didn't do? And a lot of the time, the answer will just be, oh, well, he does stuff a little bit faster. But then you have to ask yourself, well, if the lanes just play around stuff correctly, it doesn't matter that he does stuff faster because there's still nothing to achieve. But then his anti-scaling, because he basically drags team compositions down with him, just tends to feel quite bad. I've been going on about this since 2016 or something.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It has become
I'm starting
one
to feel
of your
like
things.
the old crazy guy that just keeps yelling at the TV
Yeah.
or something. The conspiracy theory.
Reminds me of, I think it's the Simpsons grandpa guy, like
Yeah, that's
old,
actually, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
old
I just
man
didn't know his name.
still yelling at the sun or something. I forget exactly what it is, but something like that. That's you with the Olaf for sure. That and what's it called? Rubber banding. Yeah, that's another big one.
Rubber band, I like talking about it because so often I hear people who don't know that it's an actual mechanic.
Well, yeah. I mean, I went into your stream one time and people were like, "LS, can you explain rubber banding in the next game?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. There's also people that think that I made up the term, even though it's coined by Riot. So that one's interesting too.
Trading ults in the bottom lane. Nothing really to see here. There's nobody taking fatal damage or anything like that.
So what starter are you gonna choose?
The one from Sword.
The starter. There's 3.
I know.
You know, I'm really disappointed they never had deviation with the starters in any of the gens.
You mean it's always water, fire, grass?
Yeah.
We do have a fight here as BeryL just went way too far on his own. First blood for you, buddy. As now Nuclear might have to flash here. No, looks like he's going to be just fine. Ocean Drake into the first blood. The most Jin Air thing ever.
I'm sorry I didn't cut off the talking soon. That was a donation. That wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
How generous.
No, but yeah, why did they never deviate from it?
I don't know.
I would have liked to have.
Well, we're going head-to-head up
There
at
we
the top
go.
side. They don't want to hear you talk about Pokemon.
Well, maybe I should talk more if it means these guys will fight. You know? Like, maybe I'm actually doing everyone a favor.
We finally figured out the main reason you talk about Pokemon all the time.
All right.
This is to make them fight. Yeah, but, I mean, Lindarang, he was doing okay until he forced that fight. Nuguri put him in his place.
Only a 13 CS advantage, though, currently. For Cannon up in the top lane. Yes, he does have the Kleptomancy. But not too much is happening. Now, the real problem for DAMWON is the Lissandra, the Gangplank, and the Ezreal, because they have a Cannon and a Lee Sin. So there's a heavy reliance to get a really good slicing Maelstrom off, but it's really hard when you're red side Cannon, because it's so difficult to get vision inside of the blue side jungle of the blue team when posturing around Baron. And then in addition to that, it looks like Kennen, I don't know if he's going to transition into AP or hybrid or something. I guess he's going Gunblade.
Yeah.
Right, so he's going Gunblade so that he has a way to sustain against Gangplank in the side lane. But the Lee Sin is also going to have a reliance on kicking. Now, who can you kick inside of the fight? Realistically, you can't get onto Ezreal. You can't realistically get onto Lissandra. Olaf can press R. So who are you going to hit? The Gangplank? But the Gangplank's never really going to be in close proximity to you. He's using his barrels, which outrange you. So this is part of the problem that I talked about with the DAMWON gaming team composition. Now, it doesn't mean that DAMWON won't win or that they can't win. Their players are obviously all really good, and they could just outplay Jin Air, but it doesn't change the fact that fundamentally the team composition has a problem that it doesn't have ways to answer easily.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if Cannon can somehow bend time and space and make it work, because we have seen it before. Maybe he can play around cooldowns or something like that, you know, if Ezreal is too far up, or, you know, Lissandra and Olaf, they don't have their ultimates or something like that. He can make the play then, as Gunblade finished here for ShowMaker. Going to be a double Gunblade team. Now we're threatening Grace as
what?
Whoa!
What was that? What was that? Is that a new... No, I actually don't know what that was.
Yeah, definitely intended.
Was it?
No, it's a bug with Lissandra's ult.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sometimes...
No, she didn't ult.
Oh, yeah, she didn't.
And
maybe,
the Korean casters actually had
W?
an interesting reaction. That was definitely interesting.
Maybe the W, I guess?
Okay. I have just never seen it before, so I was really surprised.
Yeah, we had it one time, maybe last week, but it always surprises me.
Okay, now
it's like a
DAMWON, they have to be really careful right here.
Well, TPs are coming in, and
oh, they don't know.
And here we go. Nuguri's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get bopped down as nobody can get in. But the smite just goes the way Lee Sin. And it looks like he was able to pick that one up. So Canyon being the sacrifice, well done.
So interestingly enough, they get the smite steal, but then they also expend the flash. So with all the turret plates going down, interestingly in a weird way, the Herald was more gold valuable still for Jin Air. That it took Canyon donating his own life. Now, had he just stopped the Herald and then flashed to live, okay, well, that's still pretty nice, that if you can end up getting away there. But Jin Air Greenwings actually have a really, really big lead right now in this game. Now, we take a look, and this is where I was saying that they don't know, and very similar to Gen G earlier today, they don't recognize they can't win the team fight. They're handshaking upon something that is absolute guaranteed defeat. And the fact that all the Jin Air Greenwings members are able to be here via the Ezreal teleport, Yuumi latching onto him, everything is just going disastrous for DAMWON Gaming right now. So outside of ShowMaker having some hero performance in the mid game or Xayah getting monstrously fed, the Jin Air team composition is so much easier to pilot.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. And again, we have seen them in situations like this. And once again, looking for the ult here on the Canyon. He's going to get the kick down, and the axe misses, so he does flash in for the kill. But here's ShowMaker trying to turn it around. It's going to... Oh, boy. That's
okay, we're getting it twice.
That's a big deal, actually, as the ult is going to come in, and now ShowMaker is going to shut him down for that double kill.
And that has to feel really bad right now if you're Jin Air Greenwings. This whole thing ended up happening because Malrang was too slow to pull the trigger, but also ended up missing the axe. And so in the end, ShowMaker ends up getting 2 kills. And that's what DAMWON Gaming needs right about now. Mountain Drake is alive, but Lee Sin looks like he's pathing top. Whereas Olaf should surely just path straight to the mountain. Doesn't matter that the blue's up, because when Grace ends up respawning, he has full mana. He's going to teleport into mid lane, shove the wave out. Lee Sin's going to do the wraiths. Yuumi and Ezreal are going to try to get priority over bot lane, collapse via river on the right-hand side. Lissandra plays right-centric inside of the lane. Nuguri and Lindarang are going to trade.
Ooh, Lindarang.
And teleport's available on Nuguri, but don't think that it really matters. Gangplank ultimate is going to be up. And here we go. Here's the sequence. We got it.
Again, I told you not to read the script on the cast.
Not a real
supposed to let it play out and then analyze it as it goes. Not quite able to land that one. As, yeah, everybody's grouping around this Mountain Drake now. It's all going according to plan. And you can see that the vision advantage here is in the favor of Jin Air. Just now being cleared out, but Grace trying to make a play, but it all goes wide, and Lindarang takes another winning trade. Ooh, that was close.
That was a guillotine waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm really surprised that they're not taking the team fight at the Dragon, because again, it's still a situation where DAMWON couldn't have won. They could have just started the Dragon and then fallen back towards the south, and maybe DAMWON Gaming acknowledges that they can't win. ShowMaker pushes out mid, Canyon past left centric, gets Scuttle Crab, steals away the blue, steals away the Gromp, creates pressure onto Gangplank, he falls back off Kellin. Kellin gets shoving wave up in top lane, and then they threaten some sort of a dive, doesn't really matter. Malrang past left centric, ends up eating his wolves, and then nothing happens, nothing transpires after that. But instead, what we're going to see happen is Herald top lane, And now we're going to see the Mountain Drake capture. So it's a little bit delayed, even though it was a 100% free, because it would have ended up transpiring almost similarly to the Ripto had they elected to just take it inside of DAMWON Gaming's space.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that Jin Air struggled with in the past, too, is confidence and playing with a lead.
Yeah.
You know, just in general, it's not a shot against them. I mean, they just are not really ahead very often. And when they get here, in the mid-game especially, they just have a lot of trouble with, you know, extending the lead, getting very far ahead, and ending games in general, so.
Remember what I told you, though, Valdez. Jin Air's going to lose the first turret this game.
Yeah,
and then
they did.
They did.
Oh my god,
so
this is happening every time now.
Turn to page 12. Right?
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a Lissandra skin bug. That's the word from G-Sun. As Nuclear is playing with Fire, he's really just playing with Root, who is that one shining light on the side of Jin Air, who does seem to show up every day.
Nuguri now trying to push back Lindarang. As you were mentioning, Nuclear, I mean, he got nuked in the bottom lane, so forced to back up and recall. As mid lane keeps just playing ping pong. And now Jin Air, they're going to get this bottom lane turret, and look at how healthy the bottom tier 1 and mid tier 1 is on the side of Jin Air, and that's not an easy task for DAMWON to accomplish outside of winning a team fight decisively. So that's a lot of gold that in theory should be locked up. However, Jin Air should be able to get it just by simply rotating some of the champions around. Although it looks like Ezreal and Yuumi pathing back down towards the bot side, so I think that Ezreal wants to push the current wave. Zaya's crashing into the turret. He'll follow that up by pushing the next wave, and then maybe transitioning towards his red, capturing that before proceeding into mid lane. Not entirely sure.
Look at these items here from the side of Akali. Went Oblivion Orb and then didn't finish the Morellonomicon. Does that make you happy, LS?
It does. It does, because Akali needs to just kill someone. She doesn't have to worry about stopping their healing, because DAMWON Gaming cannot win a sustained fight. You won't win a sustained fight against the Ezreal, the Yuumi, the Olaf, and the Lissandra. As I said earlier, it comes down to, can ShowMaker have a hero performance and just eviscerate someone during a team fight? So he's going to need the death cap. Although, Morello wouldn't be awful against this team comp.
Yeah, they do have a nice amount of healing in their competition, so that's why I was curious. But yeah, it does make sense. We'll see if he can be the big-time assassin for his team. Already got a pretty big bounty on him already, so feeling pretty good about that one. The next test here is going to be Nuguri. We'll see if he does go into the Oblivion Orb, into the Morellonomicon, or just stay on that one item. As we're just chilling here in the mid lane. The lanes have swapped. Mid laners have gone top. Top laners went bot. And everybody else kind of hanging around the middle here. It's another Mountain Drake up next, so definitely one of those things you have to look at.
Yeah.
With the double mountain as a potential effect in this game.
Well, Silver Mountain for Jin Air Greenwings with the Open Dragon would definitely make for very easy Baron captures. And DAMWON would have to really be on their feet. So, gold score at the top, it's only separated by 300 gold. The problem is that the champion base scalings, as well as the itemization scalings for all of these champions, DAMWON is really, really far behind. So we'll have to see if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat in order to salvage this, because it's so pressuring. And the other thing is, if DAMWON find an opening and they try to capitalize on it, and it comes at the cost of Kennen's flash, Lee Sin's flash, and they fail to get anything, it is so much more important for their champions to have their summoners available than it is for Jin Air. Because Jin Air is centered around Ezreal. So even if Gangplank doesn't have flash, he doesn't need it because of the way that he positions in teamfights, where he stands, what he tends to do as the game continues to develop. Lissandra doesn't care if she doesn't have flash. She doesn't need to be the one that engages because Yuumi and Ezreal will force DAMWON's hand. So as long as Ezreal can be protected, they don't really care about summoners, but DAMWON, they really, really do.
It's part of the reason why Canyon is going to have a hero performance on this Lee Sin, a very tough game and composition for him to go up against. We'll see what he can do here as the Mountain Drake has spawned. It's going to be the main focal point of the next fight if it does happen. DAMWON know the threat of letting Jin Air get another one of these Mountain Drakes, so could imagine a world where they try to start a fight here.
They have to be really careful. You can see that Nuguri, he's trying to create his own flank. Oh, he finds Lindarang. He's going to potentially take some damage. Never mind, he still Gangplank's barrel.
Yeah. And all the while, we're sitting here, and Malrang does blow his ult.
Yeah, that's... All right, that's step one. That's one check mark. They managed to get Malrang to blow his ult.
Yeah, they're kind of baiting Jin Air into this small corridor.
And this is where Jin Air tends to fall apart. They get into these really good game spots, but then their execution on following through with them tends not to be too clean.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can do this time around and how clean they will make it. As okay, we're going in, but he misses the charm, and that Rakan immediately dies. As he doesn't even have Aftershock, and I don't think he CC'd anyone anyway.
There's no opening. You just get to see, an example of it. That it is so hard if your Kellin and Lee Sin can't get into the back. I'm going to keep echoing it because there's nothing else to really talk about. The game is unfolding really slow, and the reason is because Jin Air is this walking siege turret that centers around Ezreal as the main, like, laser. So DAMWON, it's all about smoke and mirrors for them. They have to find a way to bring it down. Now, talking about the really important things, did you see the new, are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
I have seen the movies, yes.
Are you a fan of them?
Yeah, they're good.
Take a look at the replay first.
Yeah.
This isn't Gandalf coming over the mountain. I'll tell you that much.
He didn't CC anyone, he doesn't have Aftershock anyway.
Yeah, Lissandra's a good champion against this comp. So, you're a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, sure.
Did you see the new one that's coming out?
What new one?
There's a new one coming out. You excited?
A new movie? Or?
Yeah, new Lord of the Rings movie.
They both missed the canon.
Don't change the subject.
How did that happen?
Stop talking about the game. No, there's no new Lord of the Rings. I was just trying to get you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was like, what is it? I
no
read all the books.
What's your favorite? The intellectual. Who reads?
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember in high school it was cool to, you know, pretend to be dumb, right? You're like, oh yeah, I don't read. Who reads? I wouldn't want to gain knowledge. I wouldn't want to learn new things. Who wants to do that? So lame.
Man. I wonder when everything changes, when the meta changes in high school, where it's cool to read.
Yeah,
Maybe that's already sort of happening. I don't know.
Yeah, you see, I don't really know.
This is my 8th year. Gone.
What? Your 8th year of what?
Gone.
High school?
Gone.
Oh,
You know,
it's been 8 years. Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah. I'm getting on in my years.
Yeah, you're getting real old, Ellis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell that to some of the other casters we got here on the desk. Don't say that when you're casting with Atlas.
Wait, I did actually.
Did you? You're 93, right?
Yeah.
93. Must feel good.
Yeah.
I'm
what are you,
91?
91?
Yeah.
Yeah, 91. Your birthday is a day before mine.
Yeah.
Do you know what time you were born?
No, I actually don't know. Why, do you?
Yeah, 7:42 p.m.
You know the exact time you were born? That's interesting.
Nice.
Generally, people are like, yeah, I was born in the morning or in the middle of the night, right? But I didn't think you were going to come at me with the 7:42.
I'm an analyst. Come on.
You gotta know the numbers. Well, it's usually the play-by-play's job, though. Just roll off the stats and pretend to be smart.
Yeah, unless you're Papa Smithy, in which he just has the stats in his head.
That's true. Yeah.
He can recall. He can recall games from years ago.
That's true.
Which is
I remember I was casting with him one time, and he's like, "Yeah, I remember this happened in this game in 2012." I'm like, "What? Like, are you just making this up?"
362 days ago, this.
It's like, yeah, I was the round of 16 with Najin's sword, and I'm like, what the What is going on, man? It's like he was reading the book of LoL history before he came here.
Oh, no.
And then I remember that he is the book, right?
What, are you calling him old?
No, I would never say that.
Yeah, they're mid lane right now. Hold on, let me give them the synopsis. So,
why don't the casters talk about the game?
Yeah, hold on. So right now we're going to have some posturing around Baron. Gangplank's going to shove another wave into Kellin. DAMWON Game is going to realize that they can't approach. They're going to try to fight for vision inside of the red side jungle, realize that they can't actually maintain it. They're going to give up top tier 1 turret after a little bit of a hassle. It's okay. ShowMaker's going to back up. Everyone's going to recall. Going to be some more items. Jin Air Greenwings probably going to posture. Get the next Ocean Dragon. Need some of their jungle camps. More posturing in mid lane. And then eventually a Baron dance. Let's get back to the real important things now.
I mean, are you sure you don't want to let me like have a crack here at the
yeah.
turret?
Go ahead.
ShowMaker did a lot of damage there. That was good. And then he ran away.
Superb.
Anyway, what were you going to say? I thought you had something important to tell me, right? About Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah. You know, Lord of the Rings was a really good series.
Yeah, I don't really remember it too much.
Okay.
You guys were making like a Gandalf coming over the mountain.
You don't remember again? That's one of the best moments in movie history.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that, but it took me a little bit to be like, wait.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know who looks like the new Mordekaiser? Is it, he rides the Nazgul. You know who I'm talking about? The guy in the black armor.
From Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. He rides the Nazgul. I don't know what his name is.
Is that where Liquid Nazgul got his name from?
Yeah. Wow. Nice.
Wow.
For those of you that don't know, I believe he's the co-owner, right? Of Team Liquid?
I don't know.
I think so.
I know he's involved in some way.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Him and
exactly.
Steve.
Yeah.
Actually, both great.
Yeah, I haven't actually met either of them, so can't make a comment. They seem like nice fellows. As Lindarang's getting in here, we do have a fight, both level 16. The Hex Drinker, well, Malrang is going to be popped here, and Lindarang.
Could have gone flash for flash there.
Yeah.
Remember how I talked about earlier that the summoners for DAMWON Gaming are more important than the summoners for Jin Air Greenwings. So going flash for flash against the Kellin would have actually been a worthwhile trade. Even if Kellin anticipates your flash as you go for the parlay, it definitely would have been worthwhile. So I like what Jin Air did, though. They didn't get the open dragon as soon as they could have, and so now Elder will spawn.
Yeah.
After they capture this.
Wow.
And so they are so 5-head right now.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, man.
Very smart team. That's my analysis.
Nice. Superb.
But they're not actually getting it now. I mean, right? You want to wait until the right timing and then pick it up so that you make the Elder spawn at a relatively early enough time.
I'm surprised that they're not actually just soloing. Oh, man. They might try to 2-man it. I talk about this all the time.
Yeah, double
mountain enables 2-man.
It does, and they also have that ocean.
Right.
You also mentioned, so they can pull off, regen.
That regen on Baron. When it heals back up, that's just like broken.
That's like...
Isn't that insane?
20 ocean drakes.
I don't even know what I would compare that to. That's...
Well,
looking like a champion should be able to do that. You know?
Yeah.
That'd be balanced.
Well,
all right, so... I gotta break it down again.
Yeah. You gave me a very stern look. I was like, oh, okay.
Lindarang's gonna now push in a bottom lane. Everyone's gonna recall. Ezreal's eventually gonna pick up the red buff. Probably they're gonna capture the Ocean Dragon, cause the Elder to spawn. We're gonna have another song and a dance inside the red side jungle. Quicksilver Sash now picked up for Nuclear. Probably gonna transition into maybe a Guardian Angel next. Well, we get the Ocean Dragon.
Yeah.
Elder's going to be coming up next. All of Malmortius now on the side of Gangplank. It is so difficult for DAMWON to realistically do anything in this game. I really can't imagine a world where Jin Air could manage to botch this.
Hey, man. Be careful with what you wish for. They've done it before, and I'm not hoping that they do it. I do want to see them succeed and actually not do it once again. But yeah, I mean, it is going to take a lot, right? It's going to need a really good flank, and that ward right there on the left is not terrible if the cannon could get on top of that, and if Jin Air, well, they just cleared it, but if Jin Air do go for the Baron.
Really surprised that Ezreal. Well, actually.
Oh, we're going in here. Nuguri not scared to take another fight here, but the Maw is going to keep him topped up. And now Lindarang flashing on in is going to shoot him in the back. And down he goes as Lindarang will easily accept and win that duel.
And now, with the kill on Kellin in 50 seconds, double Ocean Dragon, double Mountain, it becomes so easy to get the Baron. Get the Baron to about 2,000. Lissandra goes over the wall, presses R on Lee Sin. It's not very complicated. But they're so careful, and this is what you're talking about earlier, where they don't execute, and they have some difficulty in closing once they get into a thing. And I was alluding to it earlier. Teleport now coming in from ShowMaker. Lissandra finds Lee Sin. There it is.
Okay, Lissandra trying to turn it around, doing the damage, and it will go the way of Malrang. But now Grace in the back line. We got Lindarang here too. And they're both able to do the damage with Ezreal's help from the fountain. Nuclear trying his best to kill the Pirate and barely will. But the Baron and the big team fight win go the way of Jin Air.
And that was a really big victory for Jin Air Greenwings. There's no way the DAMWON Gaming team composition can hold off a Baron siege, especially not when it's amplified by the double Drakes for Ocean and Mountain. Elder coming up in 2.5 minutes, so even if they can't end with the Baron exactly, this will convert into an Elder Drake capture, and that's going to be all too easy for Ezreal and Yuumi to just light up the enemy team, especially with 4 Elemental Drakes amplifying it.
Yeah, Jin Air finally in a spot where they're just so far ahead. We're going to break this down again, too.
And so we just see the 1v1, and interestingly, Nuguri, he's handshaking on this, but didn't respect the Maul of Malmortius on Gangplank. So he ends up...
What's with the zoom-ins on dead cannons?
Yeah, I don't know. I think someone hates rodents. Now, this is it. This is the exact thing. It gets to 3K. Like I said, Lissandra go over the wall, find the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Wait, she ulted Xayah. Xayah QSS,
yeah.
Right? That's what happened?
I think so.
That was the wrong target. All right, well.
Yeah, Lee Sin got in the pit eventually there.
He did, which was really scary.
Yeah, and oh boy, okay. Is
He
this
lived
it?
so long.
Yeah, takes
And now they're
way
still
too
going to lose
long
the
to kill
fight.
him.
They're still going to lose.
Nuguri now with the ultimate, and the Zhonya's doing a lot of damage in the back line, but there's just no way to get in there with the TP. And DAMWON not really able to stand up here. It's huge damage now from Root and Grace. Just able to shut him down, and DAMWON, just desperate for a win, are not able to find it.
And now teleport coming in mid lane. Jin Air Greenwings in a surprising decision are actually just calling to end the game immediately rather than being super safe. They really want to get ShowMaker.
Yeah.
He's trying to eat as much aggro as possible.
He's trying to delay it.
Against Lindarang right now. Lindarang able to, in theory, just ignore him and get the turret. ShowMaker goes down.
Here we go. Baron coming in, and the Jin Air Greenwings are going to win game number 1 in a very dominant fashion. And not many mistakes made either as Jin Air come in. And we're able to take a very good win here in the beginning, so props to them. Now the question is, can they keep it up and actually move it on to bigger and better things and potentially even a series win? That would be a treat if we do get that to happen.
And, I mean, this was actually a pretty cookie-cutter game. You know, I feel I leaked a lot of the script. I never felt, you know,
You're kind of just reading off the page today.
Yeah, I really was.
Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, everything goes well for Jin Air in game number 1. And this was another, we're really having a night where drafts are heavily influencing the games.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Jin Air whiting.
Yeah.
And they whited.
They did.
So, yeah.
Now, This is also sort of what I was talking about. DAMWON had the draft going so well for them, and then they allowed themselves to be pinched like that, and it just makes absolutely no sense how the team that opens Olaf pick 1 somehow ends up drafting against your team composition, even though you had so many openings to recalibrate it, or just respond in general because it was a first pick Olaf. So
definitely an interesting draft. I liked the response in the second phase by Jin Air to go Lysandra GP.
Lysandra GP.
I think that was fantastic by them, and even though DAMWON kind of lost draft.
Pick?
DAMWON lost draft, but I also feel like Jin Air won it in a sense. But yeah, the Kellin pick, kind of interesting. They didn't know who the top lane was. They wanted to just take a blind pick and then have the counter for the jungle,
Look at how tanky Gangplank is right here against these champions. He has the Maul of Malmortius, he has the Guardian Angel, his ultimate comes out, cause everyone to spread apart. Canyon really doesn't like his top laner, kicks Yuumi and friends right back in to start abusing the Kennen. And ShowMaker, I mean, he's at the north of the fight, he can't approach because Lysandra. And so that's all that she wrote in game number 1. It was a fun game to watch, in all actuality, because the way that the draft really did come to fruition, the way that it should have. And we got to see it at multiple points. The Herald fight, the Dragon Dance, and then we got to see it even at Baron. So it's all really nice to watch.
Oh. Found him there in the bush.
Good job, good job. We won. This is Jin Air.
This is Jin Air. And that it was. Good job to them. Quite a clean game. You know, it wasn't the most action-packed one. We were just about 15 kills in 36 minutes, but it was relatively clean. I think they were a little bit slow to start up some of the objectives. But other than that, you know, just a straight-up one game from the draft into it. I really feel like the Lee Sin did 0 this game. You know, he was kind of just sitting there. And, you know, did a little bit of damage, support damage, but not really able to do much outside of that. Now, don't show them the script. How many times say it on cast and then you show them the paper?
Oh, God.
All right, we're kicking LS out. He's leaving. See you later. But, yeah, guys, I'm all alone now. This is very lonely. This LS has left me entirely to lonely moments here on the desk. But, yeah, we are going to be jumping into Jin Air versus DAMWON Game 2. Join us in a bit.